All right, so here is, I think, a little more user-friendly shortcut. So what happens if we multiply, instead of multiplying a sum squared or sometimes a sum or difference times a difference, what if we multiply a sum by a difference? And later on you'll learn the word conjugates. These are conjugates of each other when you have the same two numbers but different signs, right? One is a plus here, one is a negative. And notice that they're not opposites, right? Like not all the signs are different, right? This sign is the same as this sign. So it's just one sign that changes in this situation, okay? All right, so what happens is we're going to FOIL. A times A is A squared. A times negative B is negative AB. B times A is positive AB. And B times negative B is negative B squared, right? So this time when we combine like terms, what happens is we have negative AB plus AB. So those actually cancel out. And we're just left with A squared minus B squared, right? That's a negative this time. And so that's our shortcut now, okay? So instead of foiling and getting all this stuff, we know these middle terms are going to cancel out if we multiply a sum by its difference, or a binomial by its conjugate. If you want to use the conjugate word, we end up with A squared minus B squared every time, okay? So let me just show you both ways again on this one, and then once you see that the pattern works, then we'll kind of start using the pattern of the shortcut. Okay, so here, if I were to FOIL this out, I would get x times x, x squared. I would get x times 6, which is 6x. I would get negative 6 times x, which is negative 6x. And then I would get negative 6 times negative 6, which is negative 36. So once again, these middle terms are like terms, but they're going to cancel each other out. So we just get x squared minus 36. Okay? So if we use our formula, then we can go straight from here to here, right? So I can say, okay, well, let me just square the x. So that gives me x squared. And let me just square the 6. That gives me 36. And then it's going to be a minus. So it's always going to be a minus in between, okay, with this formula. All right. Oops. All right. So that's how we use a shortcut. So now let's try number 40. So remember, if you want to FOIL this out, you can, but I'm going to practice using the shortcut. So I'm going to do 4u squared, which is 16u squared, okay, minus, it's always going to be a minus, right? Then I'm going to square the 9v, so it's going to give me 81v squared. That's it. All right, so like I said, I think that shortcut's a little more user-friendly. Let's try one more example. So here we have two binomials, and they're exactly the same except for the sign in between, right? So I'm going to use the shortcut that we have. So I'm going to square the first term. So if I square y cubed, I get y to the 6th, right? Then we're going to put a minus, and then we're going to square the 1. If I square 1, I get 1. So that's it. Y to the 6 minus 1 is our final answer.